These are some crazy, unprecedented times we're living in right now, folks. A lot of uncertainty out there. We don't really know what's going to happen. We're all just kind of holding tight and hoping for the best. And this virus has certainly impacted some people a lot more than it has others. We're fortunate it hasn't really impacted us a lot, but for those of you that it has impacted, we want you to know that you are always in our thoughts and prayers, and we hope everything gets better for you. When we're dealing with uncertain times like these, one of the most valuable assets or skill sets that you can have is the ability to grow your own food. Now, we haven't gotten to a point where food is scarce in our country, and I don't know that we will, but we definitely want to kind of stay away from large crowds and try to stay away from that grocery store as much as we can. And the ability to grow our own food is going to allow us to do that. And that's what we're all about here on this channel. Our motto is, we help you grow your own food. And sometimes you guys help us grow our own food. We learn from each other, this community where we can share ideas, share gardening practices, tips, varieties, all that good stuff. That's what we want to be here for, to kind of brighten your day in these kind of uncertain times. And so today I just kind of want to take a tour around the garden, show you what we've got going on, show you what's sprouted since the last time I've seen you guys, and just give you something else besides some of the news that's on TV that's not too happy. If this is your first time on our channel, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and that bell button so you get notified every time we come out with a new video. And if you're a frequent viewer of the channel, it's always good to have you back. On our last couple videos, we started our warm season crop planting. We got some squash in the ground first, and then on the last video, we got some bush beans and some pole beans planted, and I want to show you how those guys are doing so far. This is the plot in the dream garden where we planted those 2 rows of cucumbers on the end and 4 rows of squash in the middle there. And we've got some stuff coming up already. It took about 6 or 7 days. We've got some stuff coming up. There's a little cucumber right there, a few more right here. So they haven't all germinated, but they're coming. And once all those cucumbers germinate, then we'll put up our Portanova trellis like we did for our pole beans. And our squash is coming up nice. We've got, I don't know, probably half of those have came up so far. There's another nice looking squash seedling right there. So happy with this plot so far, how everything's progressing. Things are coming up. Once these things come up, they'll start growing pretty fast. We'll end up getting some squash here probably in about 35 days or so. Then we've got our half a plot here where we planted some beans. Our pole beans aren't up yet, but they're getting there. They should be coming up any time now. We go on the other side of this trellis here, we can see these momentum bush beans. Boy, these things came up fast. In just about 4 or 5 days they come up. We can see that double row there starting to come together. And not all these have germinated yet, but a good majority of them have, and really happy with the germination. I might have to thin these a little bit, but that's okay. I'd rather have to thin than go back and replant. And then over here, we're starting to get a few of these royal burgundy beans. There's one. There's another one to germinate. Still waiting on the rest of those. They seem to be taking a little longer than the momentum. The momentum is definitely a fast germinating seed. And then that royal burgundy is kind of behind it, and these Kentucky blue pole beans seem to be a little bit behind them. So it's always an exciting time when those seeds do germinate. You got good seeds, they got a good germ rate on them, they've been tested recently. You know they're good seeds, but you still kind of walk out there every day and check, is anything sprouted, and check the progress. And just when they do emerge from the soil, it just gives you a good feeling that there's going to be some good tasting produce coming pretty soon. As far as some of the other plots in the dream garden, we've got this guy right here that we've been harvesting some stuff out of. Right here is where we just harvested all of our Brussels sprouts and kind of left those leaves on top of the soil. So we got some leeks planted right here. We'll just be planting around those, we're going to put okra in this plot. You can see that leek row there is pretty dang crooked. I can wheel hoe a straight line, but I have yet to figure out how to broad form a straight line. And I was using a broad form to plant those. I got a little wobbly. Here's some Savoy King cabbage. We got most of that out of there. Had a few heads that just kind of busted and split on us. We'll need to chop all that up. We've got some collards here that I just planted because I had them. We've harvested a little bit, but we got a bunch of collards over on the other side of the garden. So we may just, instead of just mowing these down, we may harvest them and take them to a food bank or something like that, just so somebody gets some use out of them. But we're going to get those out of there in addition to these calendula flowers, which are still making blooms, but some of them are starting to look a little rough. So we're going to get all this out of here except those leeks. That's where we're going to do our okra trials for this spring on into the summer. Then we've got this plot here where I grew an absolutely sorry cover crop of winter rye. This stuff should be a lot taller and a lot greener, but this soil here is just, there's not a whole lot in it, but we're about to fix that. See that truckload of compost over there? That's that good gin trash compost, and we're about to mow this down, till it one time, put about a ton of that compost on there, and that should make this soil a lot better, because we're going to be planting sweet corn here on the next video. Now, I haven't quite decided what variety of sweet corn I'm going to plant this spring. Maybe you guys can help me figure it out. I know I want to plant one of those triple sweet varieties, and we have 4 of those. We've got the Honey Select, which is a yellow. Dad grew that last year, so I'm not going to grow that one. Then we've got the Avalon, which is a white triple sweet, and we've got 2 bicolored triple sweets, the Primus and the Providence. So I'm going to grow one of those 3, the Avalon, the Primus, or the Providence. So tell me in the comments below which one you think I should grow or which one you want to see me grow, and we'll try to pick the one that gets the most votes. And then this plot here is one I showed you on the last video where we're going to put our peppers. We got some of that gin trash compost spread there. We need to come in there and till that up. I just haven't been in a big hurry to do that because we still got a little bit before our peppers are ready in the greenhouse. So this plot here is just kind of chilling for right now. And then this baby right here, which has kind of looked the same for a while now. Collards, still doing what collards do, still making. I'm probably about to have to get this dinosaur, this lacinato kale out of here. Most of it is starting to bolt. It just jumping to 85 degrees during the days just kind of threw it for a loop. So I'm probably going to get that out of here. I might plant some more beets right there. We also showed you in a previous video, we direct seeded some carrots here on these 3 rows. We transplanted some beets. Those transplanted beets have taken off. Those things are growing so fast, looking so good. And our carrots, although it came a gully washer after we planted them, have germinated okay considering. We've got some, you can see them right there. They're coming up. I need to get in here and weed this and kind of bust up this crust a little bit. But looks like we're going to have a decent stand of carrots, although I was a little bit doubtful there for a few days. Speaking of fast growing, I want y'all to look at this pak choi right here. We transplanted this on a video a few weeks ago, and look how quick that stuff is growing. I told y'all this stuff grows fast. It finishes in about 30-40 days or so, and it grows an inch or 2 a day. You can stand out here and watch it grow. We've been keeping it watered with that drip tape in the middle. I probably need to spray it at this point. I got a few bugs eating on it, but it grows so fast sometimes the bugs can't even keep up with it. It stands to reason that they do, but it always amazes me how much faster things grow this time of year than when we plant them in the fall, and they're growing in a time where the temperature is getting colder versus now is at a time where the temperatures are getting warmer. You know, those beets, that pak choi, even those carrots grow off in almost half the time that they will as opposed to when we overwinter them. Now let's walk around the barn over here and see how our taters are doing. So we got taters popping up, and every day I come out here, a few more have emerged from the ground. I do have this little tripod sprinkler here. I haven't gave them a ton of water, but every now and then, every few days or so, I'll give them a light sprinkle just to keep that crust on the ground from being so hard so they can all break through there. You can see that crust breaking there, that's usually a good sign where a tater plant is going to emerge here in the next day or two. If we walk down here, we can see a few that have came up. These are our French fingerling potatoes. One there, there. So it's a little spotty at this point, but they'll all come up eventually. Here's one that's just now deciding it's going to bust through. So we're just being patient with these. I don't think we had a lot of them rot, even though we had a lot of rain after we planted them. Looks like most of them are going to come up. We'll just wait and see. We'll make the best of what we got. Now over here on this bigger plot, on this left side here, we've got our Kennebecks, and then we've got a couple rows of those Yukon Golds. And we haven't got a lot of those coming up yet, but it seems like every year those kind of later maturing potatoes are always the last ones to come out of the ground. There's one right there. It's kind of early to the party. But our red potatoes, especially the ones down on this end for some reason, the ones down on this end, maybe it's because it's a little drier up here, maybe we did have some rot in the soil, but these on this end are looking fabulous. And these things are just growing really, really fast. Must be feeding off all them goodies we left in the soil from that cover crop. And what I may end up having to do is just kind of heal half a row at the time, waiting on that part of the row to come up. And then these guys here are going to need healing a lot sooner than those others. Now, if you watched our row by row garden show this week, and if you didn't, what's wrong with you? But if you watched our show this week, you saw we had some tomato plants that are ready to go in the ground. So let's go over here and look at the tomato plot, talk about what we did there and what we're going to do before we get those in the ground pretty soon. This plot here is where we had our English peas and some lettuce. Now those English peas, they didn't care much for that 85-degree weather. It started taking a toll on them, so I got one good last harvest out of them. And I got that trellis and got all that out of here. I got that lettuce. What was left of it, I just mowed it, and then I came in here, pulled up the drip tape. I couldn't recycle this tape. I'd been using it a while and had a lot of you know, couplings on it and stuff, so I'm just gonna have to replace the tape here. But we got it tilled up nicely, and we're gonna go ahead and put some more of that gin trash compost right here and just spread it over this whole plot. So I've got about 5 tons of that good old black gold compost on the truck over there. Oh boy, loaded me up pretty good this time. So I'm going to put about a ton on that plot where we're going to put our corn, probably put another 1.5 tons on where we're going to plant our tomatoes here. And then I'm going to dump the rest on my compost pile and probably put that between my potato rows. Now when I'm planting tomatoes, I usually use my FAD system, furrow, amend, and drip. And I only amend the row there where I'm going to plant. But since I'm able to get this compost pretty easily, and it's pretty cheap at $18 a ton, I'm just going to go ahead and put it over this entire plot here. It can't hurt anything. And we're not going to be planting all of our tomatoes at one time. You know, sometimes we like to break things up a little bit so it's not, you know, overwhelming. We don't spend a whole day out here planting tomatoes. So we're just going to plant a row at a time. When we started these in our greenhouse, we didn't start them all on the same day, and we kind of did that on purpose, so they would all be ready to transplant at different times. So we're going to do, you know, maybe 1 row a week, a couple rows a week, until we get about 4 or 5 rows of tomatoes in here. I'm going all in on tomatoes and beans this year. It's going to be a good canning year around here, and we're going to grow a lot of crops that we can can and preserve, especially considering what's going on in the world right now. So that's what's going on around here right now. A busy time. A lot of planting going on, a lot of plot preparation going on. Now, considering all that's going on right now, we're not growing any more food than we usually grow. We always have all our plots full for the spring. We'll do some cover cropping and give them a break, you know, once the spring season is over with. But we're growing the same amount of food we always grow. We may dial back and not sell as much of it and actually eat more of it, considering, you know, we want to limit our contact with the public in these next few weeks or months. So we'll probably be eating out of the garden a little more than normal, not doing any, you know, takeout a couple times a week. not going to get a pizza or anything like that. Really enjoying what we grow from our garden even more than usual. So I'd really like to hear if this worldwide virus has affected any of your gardening plans out there. Are you growing a bigger garden than you normally grow? Are you growing different crops, maybe more storage crops, considering what's going on and all the uncertainty out there? Let me know in the comments below if this worldwide virus has affected your garden plans any, and what you're doing, how you're altering those plans as a result. Also, don't forget to let me know which variety of corn you want to see me grow. It's either going to be Avalon, Primus, or Providence. So let me know which variety you want to see me grow, and we'll tally up the votes, and the winner is the one we'll grow. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell button if you haven't already. If you enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up, and go check out these other 2 videos right here. I think you'll really enjoy those as well. We'll see you next time.